Avik, I want to bring you in here because you wrote a piece in the Wall Street Journal that you said we have to think about reopening the U.S. economy. Even if we don't get to all of these benchmarks, you said we must consider options for reopening the economy in a world in which we have not completely controlled the COVID-19 pandemic. Instead of thinking up creative ways to force people to stay home, we should think hard every day about how to bring more people back to work. And you have very specific steps. They sound measured, not rash to me. I'm no epidemiologist. But Avik, what's the response to what you've proposed?
I mean, the response has been overwhelming. It turns out that there's an enormous reservoir of people who are eager to get back to work, who understand the risks, want to be safe for themselves and for their relatives and for their neighbors, but want to be prudent. And the fact is, we know a lot about this virus. We know a lot about how this virus is transmitted. We know a lot about who actually dies and gets really sick from COVID-19. It's predominantly the elderly and other people with chronic cardiovascular conditions. So what about the young? What about kids? Kids generally don't seem to get sick, and in many cases the evidence is they're not even getting infected. Let's let kindergartners, grade schoolers, primary and secondary school students go back to school where it's appropriate, where they're not living with elderly or at-risk individuals. Let's let young people get back to work, and we're starting to see states do this. Today we heard from California, where they're actually thinking about opening the next school year early to make up for lost time. I think that's one of the things that could actually pave the way for a reopening of the economy more broadly.
All right, very quickly, because I want to hear from both of you. Yes or no, do you think that we'll be able to meet in the middle somewhere? Because people make this a very binary choice. It's either got to save people's lives or we've got to save the economy. Quick comment from you, Avik, and then from you, Doctor.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the whole point of our argument, right? It's not a matter of lockdowns forever or let her rip. There are a lot of prudent steps we can take to reopen the economy today that a lot of states have been overly cautious about doing. And that's what was great about what Dr. Erickson was pointing out, is that we know that a lot of people are getting infected but don't have a lot of symptoms, aren't getting sick, aren't at risk of death. Let's let them get back to work.
Okay, quick comment from you, Doctor.
Yeah, I agree on a stepwise approach. This is what Dr. Giesecke, the state epidemiologist, recommends from Sweden. He compared it to a ladder. So he said, for the United States, you need to open up schools, kids age 16 and under, let them come in first because I agree, the disease for them is fairly mild, and then see how the society does. Our hospitals are definitely ready for a surge, even if it happens.
Yeah, and Avik, I will point out in your piece, you said, listen, kids who are living in a home with somebody who is high risk, whether they're compromised in some way or they're older, maybe they don't come back to school right away. I mean, there are a lot of nuances to what both of you are proposing. You've got critics, so thanks for coming to answer some of them tonight. Dr. Avik, good to have you both.